Welcome back to another episode of the What It Takes podcast. My name is Eli Freedman, CEO of Blackbird Recruiting. Today we have Eli Freedman from Cork Cellar from Israel. We're actually meeting at the Innovate conference in Owensboro, Kentucky. Today is the day we're filming. Today is May 21st.
Yeah, all day long.
Yeah. Well, I met him today for the first time. We've interacted a few times on LinkedIn. He made Aliyah to Israel 3 years ago.
Almost, yeah.
You started a new business from scratch. Moved without having parnasa there. Originally, before that, you were in Montreal, no?
I was in Montreal, and I think the biggest people scared of moving to Israel because
Parnasa.
What am I going to do parnasa? I'm comfortable where I live now in America, but what am I going to do in Israel?
Right. What did you do in Montreal?
In Montreal, I had my own business. I had a glass business called Ecovit. And
is that French?
Glass restoration, yeah. Eco is like ecological, and vitre means glass in French.
So you speak fluent French?
I speak fluent French.
Ah, oui, baguette. That's it.
I learned French just from doing Shnai Mikra Chatargum, looking at the Laz Rashis, and that's how I picked up French, you know. And then I worked for a guy, Eli Freedman. I worked for him for a whole bunch of years, and then I went to work.
While you were working for him, you kept the glass business?
Yeah.
Did you do sales? How did you manage both?
My ADHD is under control right now, and when your ADHD is under control, you're able to do a lot of. You can be a tati, you can be a husband, you can get a lot done. If it's not under control, and Baruch Hashem is under control without drugs, just alcohol. The alcohol keeps me very calm, and I'm able to.
Doesn't sound like you're drinking.
I just got back from the Green River distillery. So I got 2 free coupons, so I tried two bourbons. Anyways, Bekitzer, then I worked for a guy, great guy, Shlomi Steinmetz, and his partner, Shmuel Kraus from Tosh.
How did you manage running a company and having a full-time job? Your boss knew you had this company?
I was the manager of the company. I opened the door in the morning, I took care of human resources, ordering, shipping, production.
Freedman.
What's that? No.
You had a full-time job working for somebody, Freedman?
Yeah, I worked for him full-time.
And while you have that, you have a company doing glass restoration.
I had a manager, and we used to hire Bachrim who weren't in yeshiva or having issues. The office is in my house. We had a few municipal contracts, the city of Montreal, city of Toronto.
How do you manage both?
There wasn't much to...
How do you get a contract with the government?
I davened.
Okay.
They called me.
No, really?
It's a funny story. It's a funny story because we had a girl living in our house that we took in. She didn't have a home, and we married her off. And
What?
There was a girl.
You adopted a girl into your family.
She was a Lebedeki Yasayma. And we married her off. We raised the money for the wedding. We walked her down to the chuppah. And my neighbor had a business who had a goyish partner who died. And I bought the business from him for the chusin. And I told the chusin, you're going to work. And when the business makes back the money that we put into it, you'll be my partner.
How much did it cost to buy that business?
It was about $50,000. It wasn't nothing major. But
it's a good wedding.
We flew out to Denver, Colorado to do training. And
training? What was this business?
It was a glass restoration business. When you get scratches on glass, we're able to take the scratch out of the glass instead of changing the window. They're replacing glass in big storefronts, big huge windows. People come by and they do in Montreal, they do like acid graffiti where it burns into the glass, or they take a piece of rock and they scratch graffiti in the glass. And instead of spending $10,000 to replace a massive thing, this technology had that you can polish down the glass, and They got divorced like 2 months later.
Oh, ambitious. So, but hold on a second. My parents got divorced. It's all good. Listen, see,
it happens.
My uncle is a big guy in Williamsburg. He's involved in a lot of gittin. And I asked him, everybody gets divorced. Can they save the marriages? He said 95% of the people that got divorced could have easily lived happily, beautiful lives. It's because they didn't want to. If they wanted to, very doable.
So, see, in the old days, people made it work.
I love that idea. You buy a chassan.
So I bought him a business because he didn't speak French. He didn't have an education. He had a situation. He couldn't live in New York. The girl wanted to stay in Montreal. She was in school in Montreal. So he said, what are you going to do? So this opportunity came up, and I said, I'll take the opportunity. Seems like a good idea.
But why'd you go to training to Denver?
Because the supplier who supplied the materials had a course that you can take to learn how to use the materials.
And it's like a sander?
Special sandpaper discs. It was a whole, it's
The whole thing.
the whole thing.
Wow.
The business, all the customers that I was promised that were the client list that came with the business were all poof. The technology was not, it was very difficult to get good results. It was very expensive.
The machines.
So I was being priced out by material costs and labor, and I was probably negative. I was down below $100,000 my own money. I kept trying to advertise and I kept trying to do everything to save the business. And then a friend of my wife's did an article in Mishpacha magazine about Jewish guys with interesting jobs. So she called my wife, she says, what does your husband do? He goes, he polishes glass. He goes, that's who polishes glass. So she did a story about me, and I get a phone call from a fellow in Baltimore, Maryland, and he goes, I do the same thing as you. I said, nobody does this. This is a crazy business. No one polishes glass. I'm the only guy in the whole world who's doing this. He's like, no, I'm telling you, I do it. So it's very interesting because at that point, they had called me from Toronto, which is the biggest city in Canada. And they said, we have 8,000 bus shelters and we have a tremendous graffiti problem. Can you come to Toronto and take care of everything? It's a very lucrative contract. And I knew the truth was I couldn't, because the way it was going, the materials were so expensive. These are massive, deep scratches, massive pieces of glass. Each one would take me hours upon hours. There's no way to make money. There's no, it's
How did the city of Toronto hear about you?
because the fellow who was running because the bus shelters are owned by media companies who put ads in the bus shelters.
Okay.
So the fellow who was running it had just moved from Montreal. In Montreal, I had pitched him, and I had pitched him a few times, and nothing ever worked out at that point.
What were those contracts worth? $1 million?
No, Canada, there's no millions in Canada. Canada has very low hasagas.
$250,000?
Yeah.
For how long? A year?
Yeah, and it was only in the summer. It was it's only in Montreal. You can't work from already before Sikkis. It's too cold outside. The glass when it's too cold, the glass you can't really work with it. All the way until after Purim. After Pesach, you can't really
So
work.
from Pesach, Passover for this people.
So May, June, July, August, September, maybe. That was the whole season.
So 5 months.
Yeah, so then we did also auto glass. We did stone chip repair. You get a rock in your windshield from the highway. We did stone chip repair. We did also graffiti on storefronts, but that was more sporadic here and there. You got a job where, let's say, masons are building a new building, and when they clean all the windows, there's a little schmutz inside their squeegee, so they scratch up brand new building. They scratch up 60 windows. Very lucrative contracts. And what happened was,
Polish from the outside of the building.
yeah,
Made those pulleys.
you go up on a scissor lift. So what happened was that this guy from Toronto called me, and I told him, yeah, okay. He said, come to Toronto, do a demo. So I was already scared. I was chalishing to get this contract, and
But you had a full-time job.
yeah.
How do you go to Toronto? Well,
By lunch break.
amazing.
By lunch breaks. I know. I had a great guy working for me. His name was Rocky, and he.
and there's this polished glass.
Yeah, he did all the work. I didn't really. When I had to, I did the work. I wasn't really doing the work. He would call me all day. Hey, we just broke a window. We just had a problem. We had this, and I would put out fires all day long as a manager. But I wasn't. I was dancing at two chasanas. So. Right then, when this guy from California called me, from Toronto, from Toronto, he called me. I said, okay, we'll figure it out. Right then, I got a call from Baltimore after the Mishpacha magazine came up. Yeah. And I said, can I ask you a question? I said, how long does it take you to do an area that's like 3 feet by 3 feet? He goes, I don't know, it takes me about maybe 25 minutes. I said, what? And I said, after you do it, does it work quickly? He goes, yeah, I do it right away. I said, can I ask you a favor? I said, I have this contract. Can I send you a plane ticket? Can you fly up to Montreal? Show me how you do it.
To Montreal.
From Montreal to Montreal. And then we're going to drive to Toronto and we'll do a demo. He's like, yeah, no problem. If you pay my flight, I'm happy to help another Jew. He came up, and I remember it was in my driveway, and we took out a window and we scratched it up like the worst case scenario. He comes in, he puts on his headphones, like an old-fashioned Walkman with headphones. He was a shaykhit for chickens in Empire.
It's a slaughter.
Slaughter, yeah, in Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. And he took this materials I never saw before, and within 20 minutes, it was done. It was perfect. And I heard angels singing. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. It was nothing. I took all the materials that I had and I threw them in the garbage. He goes, I'm happy to help you. Here's my suppliers. Here's what you buy. Here's how you do this. He gave me everything. He goes, you're in Canada. I'm happy to help you. Just don't come. Don't work in my territory. I'm happy to help you. He spent years researching and figuring out the exact way to do it. It was his own patent. It was his own thing.
What was he using? A cream, a paste?
I'm not going to say at this point.
Okay.
Someone else bought the business from me, but it was brilliant. And he says, here, I take everything. I'm telling you, he gave me a list of his suppliers. Okay. All you have to do is order this, order this, order this. This is the machine that you need. This is the cream that you need. This is the sandpaper.
It was a mixture.
A mixture. It's a perfect mixture. And we drove to Toronto and we went there and they didn't want to tell us even where we're doing the demo because they didn't want us to prepare. They didn't believe it was possible. And then we got there and we had a generator in the back of our van and we plugged in our machine and the guys are standing, a bunch of group members, 8, 9 guys there in suits. And they said, okay, let's see you take out this graffiti. And the generator wouldn't start.
It's your generator?
It's my generator. I climbed over some guy's house. He was living there. It was on the street, in some main street in Toronto. I climbed over his fence and he had a patio there. I plugged in my machine.
Did he know?
No. I plugged in the machine in the guy's backyard. I ran the wire over the thing wall and we did the demo. And these guys were high-fiving each other. They said, wow, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. And the rest is history.
So you had contracts with Toronto?
I contracted with Toronto. That was great. That was great. And
so 5 months, good margins?
Great margins. I used to pay my boys by the window. They would drive out to Toronto.
How did you bill?
They would drive out to Toronto on a Motzei Shabbos.
How long was the drive?
5-hour drive. Saturday night, I would put them up in a hotel for the whole week. I would give them an allowance for meals. They would go to restaurants every night, get a big supper.
Have a good time.
And I paid them per window. I was charging per window also. And I said, listen, and if you hit 20 windows, you get a bonus. And if you hit 30 windows, you get a bigger bonus. And these guys hustled and hustled. And late Thursday night, they came home and they brought me home and they said, here, we did you, we got 150 windows done. And I was set. It was the greatest thing ever. It was just.
How long did that gig last?
It's still going now.
You sold the business?
I sold the business.
You bought it for 50 grand?
Yeah.
Invested another 150?
Yeah, but I made all that back.
Can I ask what you sold it for?
I'd rather not say.
Okay. Off camera.
The details are private. Okay. But I didn't sell it for a lot because the contracts that I had with the cities, I never signed formal contracts with them. They didn't want a contract and I didn't want a contract. But there was no one else to do it. We were the only ones there and they called us back gladly. We gave them great service and it was just a very nice relationship.
Were you able to mark up the pricing? Like just charge them more because it's public money, or
I charged.
They were very aggressive, like, hey, we need best price.
No, I wasn't. There was no bidding process. I wasn't bidding against anybody. I was almost for them to replace a window would cost them $1,000.
If you charged them $700, they were happy?
No, I charged them. I believe the way it worked was the first window at a bus shelter. There's 8 windows. There's 8 glass panels, and each one is double-sided. So you can have graffiti.
16.
So I charge per panel per side when you get to the location, maybe $150
per panel?
And per panel, and every additional after the first one is $100. That was something like that. So you'd want to get to a place and you'd check and you see how many panels were. So if you had to travel to get to one, and there's only one there, that was the bad. But if you got there and there was 6 or 7 or 8 panels, you did one setup, there was no travel, and you sat there and you made a lot of money. And it was very, and we had the right to veto, like if it was too bad, it would take too much time, we're able to say, just replace the window.
Why did you sell the business?
Because I moved to Israel.
So?
It had to be actively managed, and I wanted to cut off. I didn't want to have any thoughts of going back home. I wanted to totally cut off myself. I wanted to be fully consumed by Israel, and I didn't want to regret my any decisions. So I got rid of everything. I sold my house. I sold everything. And
is this something you always wanted to do? You always wanted to?
I never wanted to move to Israel. My wife wanted to. My wife wanted to move to Israel.
Why did she want to move?
She loves Israel.
She studied there in a seminary, like family.
She loves Israel, and as my children were growing up, she used to tell them every single day. No, we didn't go a lot at all. No, she used to tell them Eretz Yisrael is our home. As she was nursing them, as she was raising them as little children, she told them Eretz Yisrael is our home. One day we're gonna get to Eretz Yisrael. She always told them that.
How many years?
Huh?
How many years was she saying that till you guys moved?
Well, listen.
15.
I'm married 27 years. So I remember 3 years. So
24 years.
the kids always knew that Eretz Yisrael is where we're supposed to be, and we're only visiting in Canada. So
She's been talking about it.
she's been talking about it.
Did you ever try to convince?
She never bothered me, and if there's anyone out there, never, ever, ever bug your spouse if you want to go to Israel. She never tried. She said, she told me where she wanted to go, and she always told me, when you're ready, you'll let me know.
That's so nice.
When you're ready, you'll let me know. And then I don't know what happened. It must have been the man on the top floor, and the combination of having our daughter married, moved to Eretz Yisrael, and had our first child. So I became a grandfather. And it was the middle of COVID, and we were tired already of being locked down and being tortured to take vaccines. And it was a whole situation. I guess it was everything in my mind. And I figured this is I think it's the only time you can have a midlife crisis and not get divorced, and not do anything stupid. One day I just decided I'm ready. I decided. I don't know. I can't explain it. I came home. We opened a bottle of wine. Of course, we always open a bottle of wine. And I told my wife with tears in my eyes, I'm ready. She says, ready for what? I said, I'm ready to move to Israel. She tells me, I said, I'm ready to move to Israel. She says, are you serious? Yeah, I'm serious. No. I said, yeah. No. Yeah, I'm ready.
She didn't believe you.
She didn't believe me. And then, and it was a very happy moment. There were a lot of tears. And I decided that moment that I will have no regrets. It's an absolute decision. There's no coming back. I knew that things would be difficult, and no matter what, I'm not going back. And we began the arduous process of going through all the paperwork, and really the paperwork gets very difficult, and I think they really want to shake off the people who aren't that serious, because it doesn't even make sense. I mean, the amount of, you can have a birth certificate from the United States government, but you have to send it to a certain place, and they put an apostille on it and a red seal, and you have to FedEx it to them, and they have to approve it, and they FedEx it back. And just like the amount of money I supported FedEx was just like, and that you have no idea when they're going to open it and look at it, and they only work 2 days a week, and there's nobody to call, and it's just like you're in the dark, and you're hanging in midair because you're talking about the container companies and packing up your house and selling your house, and where you're going to be over there, and it's such a state of unknown. It's such a state of like hanging in the air, and you have no idea you're coming or going. And it's just like, and like, you know, what flight are we going to take? And it's going to be now in the summer, the end of the summer. Should we send the kids to camp or not send them to camp? And you just don't know. And it's very like, it can get very, very frustrating. That's if you go with, no, there are people you can hire, who charge a lot of money, who will take care of everything for you. Their services. There are people who do it.
Well, it makes sense. It's a lot of money.
It makes sense, but
process.
But you're also, if you're just like, you know, you're thinking also about the future, because you know, like I don't know if I'm going to make a living in Israel, and you don't want to start wasting money, and you don't know there's so much unknowns. You don't want to start throwing out money to, like, you know, and you know, because if you actually focus and do some work, you can get it done yourself also.
How long from that night when you decided we're going to Israel till you were on the plane? How long did that take?
Probably about a year.
What was that year for you like?
Well, listen, I had to put my house up for sale. Okay. I had to close out all my affairs. We had to
sold your business.
Sold my business.
Finding a new place.
Yeah, exactly. Just selling the house is a big deal until you know it's for sure sold. And you get your top dollar, and then you want to know, where am I going? So I started looking. We had to start looking for which city in Israel we're going to live. There's different options. We had no idea. We had an idea, Beit Shemesh, but that's where most people go. But it wasn't for sure. We looked at a bunch of different places, but they were like. And I love Yerushalayim, but I feel that it's very, very busy. I'm not from Borough Park. I'm not from New York, and I want a calm, relaxed, out-of-town feel. So Beit Shemesh, but then which neighborhood in Beit Shemesh? There's so many different neighborhoods in Beit Shemesh. What schools, which kehila, which shul? Is your house near the schools? Is your house near the shul? What house could you get? What's the best thing for your family? So there's a lot of siyata d'shmaya. There's a lot of, you start feeling the, Eretz Yisrael either pulls you in or it throws you out. You'll know right away. If it's meant to be. There are people who come and they just cannot get it in order. And Baruch Hashem, we had such an easy, like it was just like, probably the hardest part was buying an apartment in Israel, because in Israel, as soon as you offer what they're asking you, they say, wait a second, if I would have asked more, they would have given me more. So they go, oh, you know what, I just realized I have to pay for this. And it's very hard. Israeli mentalities and American mentalities are very different. They're like, So you have to put your foot down, you have to be serious, you have to have good legal representation to make sure that everything is being done above board, because you don't want to spend all that money and you have to make sure that the things are for sure taken care of. And you have to set up a bank account, and it's not easy for an American head to plunk down in Israel. If you stay American when you get to Israel, you're gonna have a very hard time.
Did you change?
I changed a lot.
How?
Because you have to realize that things don't go your way all the time, and you have to have savlanut, patience, and you have to let God run the show. Let go. When you get into a plane, you're not worried about the pilot. The pilot knows his job. You have to make your efforts. You can't get frustrated. It's very easy to get frustrated. When you get frustrated, you get bitter, you get angry, you get upset, and you start losing the focus of why you got there in the first place. And you forget that this is the right place for my family. This is the place that a Jew belongs. And this is the place where you're going to raise your family. And this is the place you're going to greet Mashiach with. You're not going to greet it back there. Don't miss the boat. That's all I'm saying. You can study history and you can say all the people missed the boat back then, and we can say it would never happen in America. I'm not going to get into that. All I know is a Jew belongs in the Holy Land, and a Jew wants to reach his full potential. It's in the Holy Land. Whether you get there in luxury or you get there not in luxury, it's the place you're supposed to be. The falafel is delicious. The land is beautiful. There is so much to do there, to fun with the kids. Simple activities without going on beautiful vacations and spending a lot of money. It's a simple life. You go on a beautiful hike, slide down a river, you get ice creams, make a barbecue, and you had the greatest day of your life. It's just simplicity and beauty. And when you breathe, you breathe emunah, and you're literally walking the footsteps of all the people you learn about when you learn Chumash and Gemara and Tanoim and Amoraim. You're living their life. And it's like, why would I be anywhere else in the world? I know it's crazy, but when you live in such luxury in America, and it's a luxury, we might think it's simple, but life is easy. So why would a person give up an easy life for a difficult life? Why would you do that? Because the point of life is not to be easy. God, your mother didn't give birth to you so that you should have an easy life.
The birth wasn't easy.
The birth wasn't easy. Raising you wasn't easy. Staying up all night while you were crying wasn't easy. But your mother did it for you because you're supposed to do something that comes in your life.
Things don't come easy.
So right. So I'm not. All I'm saying is that it's not the car that you drive or the house that you live in. It's having happy children and a happy marriage. That is your point in life, and get closer to Hashem. That's all you need to do. You don't need stuff to do that. You need a mindset, and that's it. It's a mindset. It's all in your head.
One of the big concerns I'm assuming a lot of people have because they want to move is parnasa. I have a neighbor of mine. He always says he'd love to move.
Okay, so
you moved.
Okay, so in Nefesh B'Nefesh they give you a special paper, and it's addressed to God, and you put down your new address, and you file the paper, and now you let God know where you live now, and where He was taking care of you, where you lived before. Now He sends the check to the new location. It's taken care of. Because you think God doesn't know how to send you a check in Israel?
A lot of people think they need to do a shtablis.
A lot of people are extremely successful in Israel, and a lot of people are not. In New York, for example, a lot of people are very successful, and a lot of people are not. Now tell me the difference between the two. One of them, you live in Shmutz La'aretz, and one of you live in Eretz HaKodesh.
Someone went to his Rebbe, and his Rebbe said, you should go, very exciting, figure out parnasa.
Of course you have to figure out parnasa.
Did you? Before you moved?
I didn't know at a certain point what to do.
What happened? You had like a ton of money from the sale of your house, so you're like,
I know this is weird for a podcast, but I woke up, I had a dream. I had a dream on Shabbos morning.
Okay.
And I was in the wine space. I had a rooms full of wine in my house.
You've always been in wine?
I was always in wine. I was always buying and selling and trading just for fun.
Okay, for reference, everyone watching or listening, Eli has a massive storage facility in Beit Shemesh, and he's a wine concierge. people call him all the time to get him specific wines. He actually sells wines that you cannot find here in the U.S. that he brings in from Israel, and he sells it.
That's a new thing.
It's a new thing. Talk about it.
In Israel, we have a wine concierge. It originally started off. So I woke up one Shabbos morning and I said,
Here in the
I woke up. I was living in Montreal. I woke up one Shabbos morning and I had this idea, and the idea was that all the people that I know have wine cellars. They like collecting wine. Wine is an asset class. People can invest in wine. People love collecting it. People like collecting whatever it is, but wine, you collect it and you age it, and it's a hobby. You drink it, you enjoy it. So a lot of people who live, say, in Muncie or in Lakewood, they have wine cellars in their house. Now they spend some of the most special times of their life in Israel. They go for Sukkot, they go for Pesach, they go for Simchas to Eretz Yisrael, and they have to walk into a store that has barely any air conditioning, and they're used to enjoying fine wine, and then you make the whole big effort to come to Israel, and you lose out on that because wine is such an important part of the experience.
But these wine stores that are selling that are hot, doesn't it kill the wine?
Yes, usually, for the most part. A lot of wine stores in Yerushalayim will sell people who are coming for Sukkot lots of extra wines, hoping that they're going to drink it. And after Sukkot, when they didn't drink it, it's been sitting outside in their porch in the sun the whole time. The store takes it back for a full refund. And the store takes it and puts it back on the shelf. So if you think the next time you come back, or the next fool who walks into the store, and he goes, oh, that's a great bottle, let me buy that. That one just came back from someone's porch.
No.
Yeah. All my bottle has yichus. Yeah. And it comes with a guarantee. If it's not good, money back right away. It gets replaced instantly. I have a facility, I installed expensive refrigeration equipment, and it's almost underground, and it has security, and it's stored perfectly on its side. You go to wine stores, the bottles are standing up.
No.
A few of them are laying down. Yeah. Okay, depends where. In Israel,
no, it should be laying down.
It costs extra space because it's harder to lay it down because they don't sit perfectly in whatever it is. I had designed a few hundred of special wooden racks to store the wines. So I built a private storage facility. So each member of my club would have a certain amount of area in my wine cellar. They can order from me. They can order from, I don't care. They don't have to buy it from me. They can come to Israel and drive all over the country, go to wineries. They can order wines. The wineries send the wine to me. I put a barcode, I catalog it. I have an app. They see everything. They own it. And it's stored in my facility. And if they're in New York and they want to send a present to somebody, all they do is send me a WhatsApp to pull out of my cellar whatever bottle they see on their app, send it, put some chocolates, some cigars, some whatever, put it together, send it to my kid. They had a kid.
What in the world?
So that's what I did. That was my concept.
You built an app.
My son built the app. My daughter is a copywriter. She built the website. It was a family business. And this was summer, this is going back.
Oh my gosh.
Just for reference, this was about
3 years.
About 3 months before the war started.
Wow. In the summer.
So
hold on a second. You moved to Israel. You didn't have a parnasa. Now
I had people who.
Did you know you want to do something with wine?
Yeah.
And that was that a plan? You were like, I'm going to do a business with wine?
Your typical Israeli job will not. This is why people get worried about parnasa, is because if they have to take a regular standard job in Israel,
you gotta pay 3,000 shekel.
Nothing. You bubkas, mamish bubkas. The only way to do it is if you have some kind of remote business, some kind of your own business,
remote job,
or in investments or things like that. Or a lot of people work American hours. They work, whether it's in the cash advance, whether it's in insurance, real estate, title agencies. There's a title agency. There's a title agency. I think Madison. Guys, they have an office in Beit Shemesh. Yep. So guys learn during the daytime and they come to work at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and they work until midnight.
It's very hard.
What's that?
It's very hard.
Everything is hard.
No, but I'm so used to being home at 6 o'clock.
Okay. So for me, so
dinner time.
Okay.
Or bath time, homework.
You have to decide. You have to decide. It's not going to be easy to make it work unless you won the lottery, and unless your tati has a lot of money and he's taking care of you. It's going to be hard.
Right.
But you can't get Eretz Yisrael without being hard. There's no such thing as the easy track in Eretz Yisrael. It's not easy. It's not easy. But don't forget, while you live a hard life and you stay happy, you're teaching your kids that not everything goes smoothly, that life takes hard work, and not everything works out the way you want it to be. And you have a good life there, and you're in a special place. So there's no luxury track. I mean, people go to Eretz Yisrael, they come and stay in Rechavia, and they stay here, and they come at Sukkot, and they have a private chef, and that's not life. That's a special. That's opulence. That's a special vacation. Eretz Yisrael is real life. You have to take your kids to school in the morning. You might get a flat tire. You have to go to the grocery store and wait in line, and there might be traffic. Life is not like you don't have a private driver through life. You have to get through life on your own.
So you moved. What was your, like, when did you start thinking about an income?
Beforehand, meaning I came to Israel with a business plan.
What was the plan?
The plan was to start this wine business.
Like concierge.
A few friends of mine put together some money. We had
Not a distributor, you're a concierge.
a concierge for private customers only. And
I'm assuming this is more meant for like someone who's more high net worth.
yes, it was directed at high net worth individuals who are wine connoisseurs. And before I even started the business, I had a lot of people who committed to me that they would be joining. They thought it's a great idea. They love the idea. People from London, from Mexico City, from California, Chicago, Lakewood, they love the idea. This is fabulous. I love it.
Hello, nice.
I got it all started. That was the summer of...
What does it cost to start such a business? Construction, ventilation.
There wasn't construction. The app, like I said, the app costs money because we had to hire other outside people to do graphics. Inventory is dependent on how much inventory you want to have, but you don't want to have people calling you and saying, hey, I want something, and you don't have it. And it's also a learning curve because I didn't know what everybody would want. I assumed, I got it probably 75% of the time I got it right.
So what did it cost you to start this wine concierge business? Like if someone wanted to duplicate this in a different part of the country, what is it, $500,000? $1 million?
North of $500,000.
And how long did it take to be fully set up?
3 months.
3 months. Wow.
In Israel, when you do a commercial lease, you get the first 2 months rent free because they understand it takes you time until you're going to start making money. It's called grass. They call it grass. It's like the English word, French word, grace.
And how long do you need to rent it for? About 1 year?
You make a lease. You make a lease.
Even if for 1 year, they give you the first 2 months free if you do a 1 year lease?
No, but typically a commercial lease in Israel will be 1 year with a 2 year option or 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. Or I know. Usually it's 2 years with a 2 year option, meaning that it's 24 months and 24 months. 2 months
free, first 2 months.
Yeah, because they understand that you're scraping by, you're pulling together money, you're setting the whole thing up, and you don't have any income yet.
Wow.
It's just a minhag. You don't have to do it.
I know, but it's a nice thing.
But it's something to ask for. If you're American, you came and the Israeli didn't offer it to you, you ask for it, you'll get it. Because he knows.
Right.
They also have a crazy thing called hatzmada.
Hatzmada.
Hatzmada. Tzamud means next to each other.
Okay.
What it is it's based on the inflation index. So they made up this wacko doodle job idea that because there's inflation, the landowner, the property owner, wants to protect his income and keep it equal to the price that he agreed to with inflation. So I fell for it in the beginning. So when I renewed my lease, I was able to get rid of it. I said,
The price fluctuates or goes up?
everything's always going up. There's inflation. So the government comes out with an inflation index number. It could be 1.3%. It could be 0.9%.
And then it goes up.
Goes up, yeah. So,
yeah, but here in the US.
So I said, excuse me, when I sell you a bottle of wine, do I sell it to you with like an inflation index protection to make sure that you give me your $100? That $100 is still worth $100?
A bottle of wine is a one and done transaction. A commercial lease, it's 3 years. It's 1 year.
But there are no costs.
And monthly payments.
No, the only time it actually makes sense, and I've been through this with a lot of people.
I will sign a contract with a landlord that goes up every year.
That's a rental increase, and that's separate from this. That's not what this is.
Not besides a rental increase?
Besides a rental increase, this is a monthly extra cost that has nothing to do with increases.
Monthly?
Yeah, monthly. It's whack-doodle, okay? It's absolutely nuts, off the hook. And when it does make sense in Israel is that when you're you're buying a property on paper and you're not getting the apartment for another 2-3 years.
On paper means it's new construction. It's not built yet.
It's not built yet.
And the reason people might do that is because it's cheaper.
It's cheaper because the builder has to raise money and show the bank that they can sell it. So let's say material costs skyrocket in that next year, the guy who sold it, you can lose money on the whole deal.
Right.
So he might tell you, I need to protect myself. If material costs go up, you're gonna have to cover that. If you don't like it, go buy somewhere else.
Okay.
So a lot of places now will advertise, they'll say, Lelo Hatzmada, meaning that
Without inflation.
without inflation index. What the price I'm telling you now is the price you pay.
Right.
So these are things you have to talk, you have to know about before you get there.
Call Eli Freedman if you're looking to do a commercial lease.
Call me. So
So
what happened was, so I started the business. That was the summer.
you moved, when did you land in Eretz Yisrael? What time of the year?
I landed right before Tisha B'Av in 2022.
And when did you start working on building out this business on concierge?
I started before I got there, and that was
Right away, like you started working.
August, September, October. Yeah, that was August, September, October, and then came October 7th.
And no tourism, no.
The world shut down. There's no tourism, and my entire business was based on tourism. So it was those were dark days for all of us. Forget about business. It was dark days. We were under attack. We were going to war, and people are not traveling to Israel. The planes are just filled with people coming back to fight. People lost their interest in drinking because drinking is a happy thing. People partying. Right now we're in mourning, and next thing I know is there's nothing happening. And I just started the business, and we're just like at the point where now I'm starting to pay my rent, and who knows how long this is going to last. So at that point, we're at the Innovate Summit. You have to innovate. In a business, you always have to stay on your toes and think forward and what's going to happen. And you can't get frozen like, oh no, what do I do now? I'm like, save me. No one's coming to save you. You gotta take new chances. You gotta take new risks. So I said, listen, forget about tourists. Let me talk to people who live in Israel. Let me find Americans who are doing well and they live wherever. They also want wine. So I started hunting for people who are living, let's say, in Renana and Netanya.
They live in Israel.
There are a lot of Americans there who are doing very well for themselves, a lot of beautiful homes there. And I started focusing on selling in Israel. I started focusing on doing events, wine tastings.
Which
Yeah, then I started opening alcohol also. In Israel, all liquor is called alcohol.
okay.
So I started scotches, bourbons, tequilas, and then I got into Cuban cigars. People started asking, do you have any cigars? Because people like to come to Israel, smoke a Cuban cigar. In Israel, you can have Cuban cigars.
What about Israeli cigars?
There's no Israeli cigars. There's Cuban cigars, there's
Business.
No.
Not business.
There's Dominican Republic, and there's...
So you have the whole alpha male vibe going on. Scotch, cigars, wine.
Right, you can come to my cellar and sit.
Like
you can sit and chill in the wine cellar, open a few bottles, and smoke. And so we do that a lot. Sometimes tourists come in and they're only in Israel for a few days, and they love wine, and they don't have time to travel all over Israel. So I have some people, sometimes tour guides bring their people to my. They'll tell me, I ask them what they want to eat. I'll order food for them. They'll come and sit, and we'll create a whole chilled out environment. We'll open wines, and they'll go shopping. And now I have the ability to ship back to America, so people can go and they can basically taste every winery in Israel, and they can go shopping, and I can send it to them. I can send it to them back home.
Pick up at the wineries what they like.
No,
Get to you, and then you give it.
or they buy it for me.
But they're
Because
tasting
I have wine from every winery at my place. Yeah, you can go from Yarden to Flam to Carmel to Yatir and Golan Heights, and you can go all over, and I have everything there. So you don't have to. And I specialize in finding little boutiques that nobody knows about off the beaten path. These guys who are just like, in the middle of nowhere, who are just like mitnachlim, they're like settlers, and they're just like, and so that's what I moved into. And then.
How long did it take for you to start making money?
What's that?
From when you started the business, and then October 7th happened, unfortunately. How long did it take for you to start making money? And you thought of event, which is a great idea. Selling to Israelis, which wasn't originally the plan.
That wasn't the plan. To be honest, I wouldn't say that I'm paying my bills. I'm getting by.
No, but how long did it take for you to think of the idea to sell to the wealthy Americans who live in Israel? A month? Was it?
You gotta keep moving on your feet. It's like it's.
I don't know. Sometimes people are in shock for 6 months.
Yeah, you can go into shock, but if you're a business owner, there's no time for that.
Right. There's a fire.
Yeah. So I still wouldn't say I don't think I'm making a lot of money. I think I'm scraping by. I'm paying all my bills. I wouldn't say that I'm a smashing success. Far from it.
What would you tell your kids if they want to start working?
Start working?
Yeah.
In what
What industry? They want to live in Israel. What would you recommend they do?
Every kid's different.
Your oldest son.
My oldest son took online courses, and he's a full stack developer, and he makes a lot of money.
Your next son.
My next son is still in yeshiva. I don't know. It depends what he wants. He's also the same thing. If you can learn programming, computer programming, you can work in Israel. You can work American hours, Israeli hours, make plenty of money.
That's a good industry.
It's a great industry. There's a big demand for it in office in Israel, but also long distance.
Right.
And then what happened was, I got a phone call. Not a phone call. I'm sorry. I got a message, a Facebook Messenger, from a fellow in the middle of from Nebraska. Nebraska.
How do he find you?
He found me on Facebook because occasionally when I post on Instagram, it posted also on Facebook.
Because it's connected.
They're connected. And he says, hey, I love Israel. I love wine. Could you get me some wine? I can't find any wine in kosher wines in Nebraska. And I know there's online websites that sell wine, but I've kind of like been tapped out. It's all the same stuff. It's all the same shilos and psagots. And I've tried everything. I'm looking for new things. Can you get me some wine from Israel? So I learned, first I said yes. I said yes. And I said, I'll be in touch with you. And I just sat there and I said, wait a second. I know how to ship to America. There are individuals who want wine at their house. Why don't I just ship to America, to one central place, and from there, repack it and send it out to individuals all over America?
You didn't know, not necessarily.
What's that?
Not necessarily you didn't.
No, not at all. Not at all. The fellow who called me is not Jewish. There are a lot of evangelical Christians who love Israel, who send money to Israel, who buy all kinds of
Israeli stuff.
There's all kinds of websites. People just want to support Israel. They believe whatever they believe. I don't know what it is, but they love Israel and they want to support Israel. So people send money, they plant trees in Israel, and they send money to soldiers. So I said, wait a second. You can send money to Israel, because what I do is I focus on wineries that are struggling because of the war, because of whatever it is. They're not big enough to export to America. There's too much red tape to do it. I figured out how to take care of the red tape. Let me go to these wineries. Instead of them waiting all day, so one guy's gonna walk in, let me buy 1 bottle, 2 bottles. I come in, buy a few hundred bottles. I pack it up. I put together a whole bunch of wines. I pack it onto a pallet. I ship it to America. And let me send out individual boxes to all my clients in America.
The central place.
The central place.
Wow.
So then I dealt with the issue of liquor license. You need a liquor license to ship across state lines. So there's a certain company that has a liquor license in almost every state. I ship it to them. They do 3PL fulfillment for me. And the idea was born. So I know we're here at the Innovate Summit. Brian Wallace spearheaded my marketing. He created a beautiful infographic that is all about the history of Israel with wine history and the connection biblically and to the land and through history. And anyway, it's available on my website. If you go to my website. Right there. corkandcellar.net. But remember, cellar is spelled with an A, not an E.
I made that mistake today.
So in the upper right-hand corner, there's a little menu. You just click on Wine Club. So you can enroll, and if you scroll down over there, you'll see it says more info. You see the beautiful infographic there.
I saw it today. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So
it talks about the different minerals in different parts of the country and the soil, different types of grapes. Fascinating.
Yeah. So if you love wine and you love Israel, this is the place for you. It's not cheap, it's not super expensive, but the value is there. You're getting great bottles, you're getting things you never heard of. Some people join the wine club just because they're looking to discover without having to travel to Israel and go all over the country. Every month they try brand new things and they see what they like. And I offer the option that it's say, hey, listen, I tried a great bottle last month, I loved it. It was whatever wine. Can you get me more of that? So the next month when I send my ship on my container, I'll put together, they can order a case or two of whatever they want, something special, and I'll send it to them also.
What does it cost, just the membership in the club?
Membership in the club is $395 a month.
Okay.
You'll get, every month is different. It varies on the availability and the prices of the wines, between 3 and 6 bottles a month. We will be going into eventually hand-pressed olive oils and honey from Israel, based on the seasons. We're gonna bring it out there. And eventually, I think I'd like to scale it into tourism. I'd like to bring all my clients together on a huge trip and go actually to visit the wineries that they've been enjoying the wines from.
That's such a genius idea.
I think that, because you don't just stay where you are before someone else catches up to you. You want to think ahead. So there's a lot of beautiful food products that come out of Israel that I don't think people are familiar with, and I usually throw it in as a bonus. Like I'm not going to give them less wine,
Right.
but I'm going to send in a beautiful bottle of olive oil, maybe before Hanukkah or something like that, and maybe honey before Rosh Hashanah. But there's a lot of amazing products that come out of here that I like to share with the world. And I figured people love Israel; they're going to love products from Israel. I'm not gonna send a shawarma in the box there because I think the tahina is going to leak through, and by the time it gets there, it's like, it's not going to be warm anymore. But wow, that's it. That's where I'm at. So I'm hoping that this is really going to take off. We just launched it like a few weeks ago. The world does not know about it yet. Maybe after this podcast, the world will know about it.
What advice would you give to somebody who wants to move to Israel, who's never about Parnassa? It's a real concern. Supporting a family, it's scary. New country, it's another challenge they need to overcome. Of course, obviously,
yes, you have to. Yes. So I was thinking of saying that, then I decided not to say that.
I said,
you have to have a business plan. You should not get there and say, okay, what do I do now? You have to think about it in advance. And not because that's going to help you, because that's the logical thing to do. You can't just go dump your family and not know what you're gonna do. You have to talk to people, you have to network, you have to know what you're good at, what you're able to do, talk to people, and at least have an idea before you're going. There are many people, a majority of people make a good living, a great living there. There are people who fail, and sometimes sometimes it's their fault because they're not trying or they're not willing to work hard. But if you're willing to work hard and you make yourself valuable, whether it's to a company in Israel or a company that's outside of Israel, you will do fine. Hashem knows your address. He knows your PO box. He knows your email address. He knows your bank account number. He knows your ABA wiring number for international transfers. He knows every currency. He can send you in shkalim and dollars and Canadian dollars and Mexican pesos and Swiss francs. Any way you need to have parnasa, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will take care of you. You say it every single day, many times in davening. And if you don't believe it, start believing it before you come to Israel, because God takes care of everybody and there's nothing else to say about it. If the only reason you don't want to come to Israel is because you're scared you might not make a living, so don't come. You don't belong there.
You need strong chizuk and emunah.
Make a plan.
Right.
Just like you won't start a business without a plan,
right.
Don't move to Israel without a plan. At least make a plan. Now your plan might not work. Your plan might not work. Plenty of plans don't work. Plenty of marriages don't work. Plenty of cars don't work. But make a plan, have an idea, maybe have a backup plan, and go for it. It's where you belong.
Eli.
Dude.
What a good episode. Can
we have supper now, please?
Yes.
Can I get 2 shawarmas, please?
He's in it.
No harif, thank you.
Eli's in an empty room.
I'm not in an empty room.
This room is empty.
This room is not empty. No hot peppers. Just, take it out.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. What a great guest, Eli. Thank you. You should go connect with him on LinkedIn. Till next time, make sure to subscribe on YouTube. Take care.
And don't forget to have a nagila.
Nagila? What is that? Welcome back to another episode of the What It Takes podcast. My name is Eli Freedman, CEO of Blackbird Recruiting. Today we have Eli Freedman from Cork Cellar.